Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning, man gunned down in Ocho Rios community. The Ocho Rios police in St. Anne are probing the shooting death of a man whose body was found along a roadway near White River. He is yet to be identified. Reports are that about 6:15 p.m. on Tuesday, an alarm was raised about a gunfire in the community of White River Pines Estate. Upon the arrival of the police, the body of the man was found along a roadway in the community. Checks made revealed that the body had what appeared to be gunshot wounds. The scene was processed and the body was removed. 94 killed in 85 fatal crashes during January to March quarter, says ITA. With 14 of the 94 fatalities, St. Catherine was the most dangerous parish for Jamaican road users during the January to March quarter of 2025. St. Andrew and St. James come next with 12 fatalities each, according to the traffic crash statistics released on Tuesday by the Island Traffic Authority. The figures show that the 94 fatalities resulted from 85 fatal crashes. They also show that Westmoreland recorded 9 road deaths, St. Elizabeth and Hanover each had 8, St. Mary and Clarendon 6 each, while Trelawney and Kingston had 5 each. With just 1 fatality, Portland was the safest parish for road users during the first 3 months of the year. St. Thomas was next with 2, while Manchester and St. Anne each recorded 3 fatalities. According to the ITA, fatalities have decreased by 15% and the fatal crashes are down 11% when compared to prior year. A breakdown of the statistics by category of road users show that motorcyclists account for 28% or 26 fatalities as of the first quarter. Of note is that motorcyclist fatalities decreased by 33% or 13 when compared with the similar period in 2024. Private motor vehicle drivers account for 26% or 24 of the fatalities as of the first quarter. Private motor vehicle driver fatalities have increased by 41% or 7 when compared with the same period in 2024. Meanwhile, pedestrians account for 21% or 20 of the fatalities, while private motor vehicle passengers account for 13% or 12 fatalities during the period under review. Police told to desist from demanding password of phones seized. Minister of National Security Dr. Harris Chang says it is wrong for the police to demand the password from people whose phones they have seized. However, he has blamed the practice on the prevalence of lottery scamming in Jamaica. It is wrong, but it's something that the policeman has an inclination to do because scamming is what is causing our problem, Chang said without elaborating. He was responding to a question posed by a journalist to Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake at Wednesday's post-cabinet media briefing at Jamaica House. Blake was asked whether it was legal for members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force to demand from the owners the passcodes of phones they have seized. He was also asked whether it was legal for motorists to be ticketed for having daytime running lights attached to their vehicles. Let me first say that there's a process, and the process certainly is not coercing someone on that scene to give up their password, Blake replied. There is a process and a court order has to be made, so it is not right. It is not legal to demand the password. Let me just make that clear. We have since communicated to our members when that came to our attention that has been our practice to desist, Blake added. On the matter of ticketing motorists for daytime running lights, the top cop said, "We have always communicated to members regarding the ticketing of running lights because if you look at the strict literature of the law itself, it allows certain things to happen, except the fact that these are lights that came with the vehicle and are not necessarily placed on the vehicle. There is a little gray area there, so what we have done, we have sent out communication to our members to desist from doing that. It is something that we need to look at within the legislation itself, but for the time being, we have instructed our members not to continue that practice. It's unfair to the motorist, Blake elaborated. Jamaicans have taken to social media to voice their objection to the police demanding the password for people's phones, and many have been vociferous about being ticketed for running lights that came with their motor vehicles. According to the Road Traffic Regulations 2022, all lamps that are fitted to the motor vehicle must be in good working condition, must be capable of being lit and properly secured, and must be kept lit during the period between half an hour after sunset and half an hour before sunrise, and at any other time when, due to insufficient light or unfavorable weather conditions, people and the vehicles on the road are not clearly discernible at a distance of 150 meters. Significantly, no motorist is allowed to operate a motor vehicle on the road unless it is fitted with headlamps Regulation 86, daytime running lamps Regulation 87, an automatic lighting device installed in pairs, and in the case of a motorcycle, at least one on the front of a motor vehicle for the purpose specified in Regulation 87. The following lamps are prohibited without approval of the Island Traffic Authority. A lamp which, except in the case of a brake anti-lock warning light to the front of a trailer, emits a light which is not white, amber or yellow in color towards the front of the motor vehicle, emits a light which is not yellow or amber in color towards each side of the motor vehicle, or except in the case of a direction indicator or reversing lamp, emits a light which is not red in color towards the rear of the motor vehicle, Regulation 82-1, spot lamps, Regulation 101, and revolving lamps, Regulation 103. Judge denies request for jury visit to Barnett Street Police Station. Supreme Court Judge Justice Courtney Day on Wednesday denied an application by the defense in the Maria Dean trial for a visit to the Barnett Street Police Station lockup, where Dean was fatally beaten in 2014. The request came after the Crown rested its case in the trial of 3 cops, Corporal Elaine Stewart and the District Constables Marlon Grant and Juliana Cleavon. They are all before the Westmoreland Circuit Court, answering charges of manslaughter and misconduct in a public office. Defense lawyer Martin Thomas, who is representing Stewart and Grant, advised the Justice Day that the defense was making a written application for the visit as part of its preparation to mount a defense. However, Justice Day argued that the application should have an accompanying affidavit. There is no evidence to support the application, which is a weak application, the judge stated. Regarding the need to visit the scene, Justice Day pointed out that photos and videos taken by Independent Commission of Investigations investigators had captured the scene. Justice Day also noted that while there may be concern about the credibility of one of the Crown's witnesses, an inmate who gave a chilling account of Dean's beating and the reaction of the cops, this is something on which the jury would decide. I do not see the basis to visit the locus of the Barnett Street lockup, stated Justice Day. Also on Wednesday, Attorney Dalton Reed, who is representing Cleavon, requested that the former senior investigator from Indicom, Molly Plummer, be made available again with her notes. On Tuesday, the investigator struggled to recall several details, including accounts of statements she had taken from witnesses. She was accused of not reviewing her notes or a copy of the file prior to giving evidence in the case. In his ruling regarding recalling Plummer, Justice Day noted that such an application is dependent on her availability. The defense was granted an adjournment of the case until Thursday at 9 a.m. when it is expected to make a submission to the court or a brief summary of its case. The allegations in the case are that Dean was arrested for possession of a ganja spliff and placed in custody, where he was brutally beaten on August 3, 2014. He sustained severe injuries to his brain, which left him in a coma. He died 3 days later at Cornwall Regional Hospital in St. James. It is alleged that the 3 cops were on duty at the police station when Dean was beaten. It is further alleged that Stewart, who has an additional charge of perverting the course of justice, instructed that the cell in which the attack took place be cleaned before the arrival of investigators from Indicom. Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.